I'm Tim, and this is Paws on Point. Enjoy the episode, and don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and leave a comment after.
Hi. Are you okay?
This following episode you're about to hear is a family discussing with me their journey in the service dog world, how they got into the service dog world, why they got into the service dog world, and the impact it's had. So sit back, enjoy, and listen. What, Ty, brought you into wanting a service dog?
I've always really liked dogs and animals. Like if I go over to a friend's house, I will ditch the friends for the dogs. Dogs have always intrigued me. And in high school, I was looking at volunteer opportunities with my parents for PADS dogs here in BC, for like puppy raisers and stuff like that. And the more research I did into service dogs, the more I realized I could qualify for one. And when I started looking at like the benefits and the training and the bond between the dogs and the handler, it was really compelling that this is something I wanted to pursue.
Mum and Dad, how did you feel when that got pitched to you about a service dog?
I think initially Nelson and I probably honestly weren't as receptive as we should have been. I think we had a classical vision of like a seeing guide dog, or we had a very compartmentalized, and to Ty's credit, it was a huge educational piece for him to relay to us the relevance. And once we understood the level of independence that could support for Ty, I think everything shifted for us at that point.
Yeah.
I think it's just maybe on my part, just a lack of understanding of the capabilities. And like Sherry said, just very limited as to what I envisioned a service dog could do. So it was very eye-opening for myself as well.
Yeah. It's interesting that the even over the years in the development of service dogs and who qualifies for a service dog, and even though there's lots and lots and lots of great stories of what a service dog has done for someone, that perception of the seeing and hearing dog is still there. It's the first go-to. As soon as you mention service dog, I think it's fair to say everyone's brain literally defaults straight to that one. So as a family, like obviously that you've got one part in that moment in time that's like, yep, this will work. And then there's the three of you that may be going, I don't think it will. I don't think that's going to work. How do we get around this subject? Because this is getting deeper and deeper by the day. Yeah, I can see as a family, but that must have been also equally exciting about potentially another dog joining the family.
Yeah, except for I think, I don't know, Lily, like we talked in the beginning, I think we thought originally we weren't allowed to have anything to do with Ty's service dog. Like ever.
Yeah.
So I think, I mean, I don't want to speak for Lil, but I think it was a bit of a sadness about, like this dog's going to be in the house and we're not even going to be able to.
Yeah, it's a bit of a conflict of emotions, because in one sense for Ty it's easy. It's like I would like a dog to help me with this, and then for Ty that's the thought process. But for everyone else around, it's literally like you just said, it's that that's a dog I've got to ignore for the whole duration of its life whilst it lives in my house and interacts and does stuff with my son and my brother. But I'm not allowed to do anything with that dog. And then you kind of go, okay, all right, I get it, that makes sense. But then you start thinking, but the bond that Ty would have with that dog, what about me? I might want a bond like that with a dog. Do you know what I mean? And so yeah, it's a it is a monumental decision, and I think that gets overlooked a lot, where some people just think it's a case of, I'd like a service dog, pick a dog, and it becomes a service dog, and that's it. And again, like I was saying before we recorded, it's that ripple effect. There isn't a lot of education, which is why we are doing what we're doing, is trying to put that out there, that there is always a ripple effect. It goes further than what its intentions are. Lily, how does it make you feel knowing that it became a reality? That was there a part that was like, do I need a dog for something?
I think my main focus during it was to make sure that our current dog wasn't like feeling left out.
Yeah.
So I spent a lot of my time with him, but then also like saw the dog coming into the house, and I got to interact with it a lot. So that's nice.
Yeah, it's was it cool to see what was happening, Lily, for your brother, like in the sense of seeing the difference it was making?
Yeah, it was definitely cool because you could see the bond, like with him and Mango. You could see how close they were, and how even that she loved that she likes me. The fact that Ty is always like her person.
Yeah.
It was nice to like see that, and you could see how like he was more confident to be with the dog than like not.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think once you experience that part with the service dog, it definitely annihilates that initial thought of, so I'm not allowed to touch the dog or do anything. Once you break that barrier, and then you start to see how, like, the love that Mango has for Ty, it is there for all of you, but she shows it in different ways. And I think once you get that part, it all becomes way more easier as a family from a relationship point of view with Mango. Do you see what I mean? It makes it easier.
I
But
think the other thing, Tim, is when we're witnessing the early days and the bond growing with Ty, and then Ty's involvement with the trainers, and even the aspect where Ty is actually participating in the training, and building his own skills and his own confidence. The partnership is huge going forward for his life, but the skill building caught me off guard, and the confidence that Ty through this process on his own skill set and his own abilities, that was like an additional bonus that I hadn't.
yeah, no, absolutely. And I mean, it's been very clear from our point of view, like the involvement with the trainers is always there. That's how we do it. That's how we style our training. And it definitely concretes the bond a lot more, as opposed to trainers training a dog and then handing it over and saying, here is your trained dog. Pause on Point is now 11 episodes in, and we could only have done that with your support. But we need more support. The more support we have, the more change we can make. The more change we can make, the better it is for everyone. So it's really important for you to like and share, discuss with your friends and family, and talk all about us. The more we are shared, the more we are liked, the more content I can bring you. So if you want even better than what you've had already, like and share. Thank you ever so much. It was quite clear that Ty had expressed to us lots of times about his love for dogs, his love for animals, and things. But going back to the skill set, it was fascinating and interesting to see how, when the trainers had given Ty work to do, how he literally took it and ran with it, naturally went with it. So it was clear to us there was more happening than just someone who needed a dog to help them in certain situations. It was bringing the natural part of Ty out, and it continues to bring that out. And Ty, there's been lots of discussions going on, Ty. Lots of discussion. You have brought lots of discussions to the table. It's been fun to watch. It's been interesting to watch, and it's also been the education, like, for you, Sherry and Nelson, I mean, what's that been like? Is that another thing that's caught you off guard, where you've learned more about dogs than maybe you thought? Or
Oh, absolutely. I mean, just watching the interaction between the trainers, or even what Ty's doing with Mango, there's always these light bulb moments where I go, oh, I think we can do that with Garfield, or that's what we've been doing wrong. So there's always those light bulb moments.
yeah,
So a lot of education, absolutely.
yeah, those light bulb moments are yeah, so they're interesting in the fact that when you stand there and you go, oh, oh, that makes sense now. Oops. And then not long after that, you're like, oh, that too. Double oops.
Yeah. Sometimes I think, oh, that our poor dog.
And then you have that moment where you're like, oh, so the dog wasn't being difficult. It was actually telling me that I was wrong. So, Ty, from your point of view, I mean, Mango is very unique. Mango is an exceptional girl for sure. And how has that been for you? Is that sometimes kind of because the way that Mango operates with you and how much she dials into you and intuitively knows things that might be happening to you before you may know? Can you sometimes in your head get like run away with that thought? Do you know what I mean? And be like, oh my goodness, this is like a dream. This can't be real. This can't be happening. And I haven't even thought of that. And how is this possible? Do you ever find yourself having those moments?
I find it's definitely surreal at times, especially learning the capabilities that dogs have and how intelligent they are, and especially this one. I find she knows so many more things before I do, and if I'm questioning her in the moment later, I'm like, oh, wait, no, that's why that was happening, and I was feeling that way. And like, she's very much one step ahead of me all the time, and it's very just awe-inspiring and like shocking to see a dog go from like simply a companion or like what I'm used to, which is being a pet, to being someone who actually helps and facilitates your way of life, and it's very eye-opening for me.
Yeah, and do you find that it's that she helps educate yourself about yourself, like as in raising your awareness of yourself in areas you might not been aware of?
Yeah, for sure. I think definitely anxiety-wise, and I'm used to my baseline of anxiety always being there and just surviving with that. But when she's like, that's not normal, it's definitely eye-opening to be like, oh, I'm not supposed to like, I'm actually feeling more anxious than I typically am. I'm just used to like stuffing that down more normally. And it's very interesting to see her definitely tell me that I need a break when I'm very insistent that I don't. So like, yeah.
Yeah. Mum, Dad, what's that like to see happening? To see those moments for Ty where the self-management increases. Do you see what I mean? Because of the whether you're starting your service dog journey, looking for expert guidance, or need help training the dog you already have, Woofabilities Service Dog Training offers positive, ethical, and individualized training programs built around real-world needs. From foundational obedience to full public access and task training, Woofability Service Dog Training is here to support you every step of the way. For more information, visit woofabilityservicedogtraining.ca to learn more and book your consultation today.
I think we saw it really, really early. Like Ty would know better what age she was on that first visit, but he had had a really busy day. And because we had Mango, and for a while, I think we had April and Carolyn in the house for a bit too, which was lovely. But he went and sat on the ottoman and his legs were out in front of him. And he just was kind of putting his head down, and she was across the room, and she was just a pup. And she ran across the room and went under his legs in a down settled position and just looked up at him. And that was for us was a light bulb moment of, oh, like even when she's not super consciously staring at him, she's aware of his energy and is responsive. And at that young age, I was blown away. Like I didn't, I think, understand the possibility of a dog being so dialed into my kid.
Yeah. Nelson, how did that moment or those moments, how did they make you feel?
Yeah, it's kind of it's very neat to see for sure. You kind of, for myself, I see the confidence grow in Ty with having some of that pressure off, and Mango helping to do that. And it's also refreshing because you get to see like Mango working, yes, and at a young age being able to do that, but also being a pup. So you kind of, for me, kind of stabilizes my expectations versus the true nature of the dog, right? So I get to see the dog be the dog, and then I get to see how that instills confidence in Ty, and they kind of build that bond and work together.
What about you, Lily? How does that make you feel?
I know in the beginning I didn't meet her until like later in her life too, so I didn't see much of her when she was younger and like how she reacted to Ty. But I know whenever she was out like tasking with him at stores and stuff like that, it was very cool to see how she reacted to him and stuff like that. And even in the house, if he's like laying on the ground or something, she'll be like so excited because it means she gets to lay with him and stuff like that. So it's very cool to see how she reacts to him, and she always wants to make sure she knows where he's at or like make sure he's settled in a chair before she goes and does other things around the house.
If you experience the Mango becomes the focal point when people come over, like as in we're here to see the dog, everyone else is next, and you're kind of like, okay, thanks guys. We knew when we was doing the selection process when it came to Mango, and we were looking at who to match who with. We were like, yeah, this is going to be a good match for Ty. Yeah, and then literally to see how she responded to you pretty much from day one when you met her physically, that was what sold us. That was definitely a moment for us, a light bulb moment where it's like, yeah, this is happening. This is definitely happening. I mean, we talk about all the fun stuff and all the good stuff, but then there's the hard stuff. There's the parts where you have to say, when she spends some time with you, and then she comes back to us. Where does that, and I mean, for you, Ty, do you find puts you into different modes? Because obviously, when you're with Mango, your confidence is higher. There's a lot more the way that you may project yourself, the way you may function may be different. So, is there now an awareness when she's not there that you're different? Did you see it? But not intentionally. Do you see what I mean?
I definitely feel the minute she leaves, it's kind of back to like self-defense mode almost. Like it's just how I'm gonna operate and survive by myself in situations that are back to being more difficult for me than they would for other people. And like I'm back to if I'm rearing up to like go out places and she's there, it's a very calm transition for me. I'm just gonna go to the store with her, like it's gonna be fine. But if I know I'm going to the store that day, there's definitely a buildup of anxiety towards the actual departure. And that happens like every day, but with her, it doesn't happen. So I find it's just, I guess, just that level of self awareness that I'm by myself again for a little bit, even though like I have my great family with me, but like just the
Yeah.
operating and stuff. But there's
Good save.
but there's also a level of excitement that she's going back to improve and learn more things. And I'm always so excited to see how she's grown when I see her next time. So there's also like, yeah, she's gone for a little bit, but she's also gaining more skills and becoming a better dog. And I can't wait to see what she's going to do next.
Where do you find you're at, Dad, with, well, all three of you, like with regards to this part of the journey? Because you've seen the start, you've been through the restart, so to speak. You've been through like what is the middle part, and it's kind of, it is starting to drift into that last part zone. Is there out of nowhere a sense of anticipation and excitement and a bit of mixed emotions on that, or where are you at on that?
I think overall for Nelson and I, the heart to home aspect of our enrollment has been almost like a safety net, and has allowed Nelson and I to walk through this journey feeling calmer and more supported. And when she goes back, we know there's a team that's working with her. And so, in that aspect, the whole journey has been so good. And at this point now, the exciting part, I think, for us is to bear witness to Ty's pursuit of his life with that partnership in mind, leaving us, going to school.
Yeah.
Knowing that it's this partnership that is facilitating his confidence to be able to do these things that he's so capable of and so prepared for. But that's, to us, is like that final period at the end of the sentence that, like, we are doing the right thing. This journey is a commitment. It's not overnight. But if you look at what Ty is accomplishing, even as far as goal setting for himself, it's just so solidifying and validating that this absolutely 100% has been the right path to be on.
Yeah, I guess as parents, it's obviously what you aspire your kids to be. So to see Ty go from where he was, where he is now, and be like, so this is what I'm thinking. Boom, 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 and you're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay, you've just downloaded a whole section of life on me. I need to process that. It must be pretty exciting as parents helped unlock that door, be part of it, and then Ty literally, I want to say walk, but you didn't really, Ty, did you? You kind of looked at it and then ran through that door and gone, here it is. It must be really nice and heartwarming for you as parents to see that happen.
I think we do have to be really clear, Tim, though, that, like, this isn't a path and a journey that Nelson and I as parents really have had much to do with, other than to bear witness to Ty's arguments on behalf of, and then to facilitate and support. Like, this is all him. I know there's other families with kids with different needs where the parents will need to drive this train, right, to conduct this. But for us, we really are, with Lily, the support system behind the scenes of his vision. And that's, to me, the biggest measurement of success. When I watch the young man in our house planning his life, there's not really words to properly express that joy.
No, I know from April's and my point of view, to see how that network has worked, to see how you have styled that network. I mean, me and April have been in the care profession for quite some time, so we've got to see a whole multitude of support mechanisms, and the way that you as a family have dealt with this is definitely something that I know you say this is Ty's journey, and it is Ty's journey. And I know you say you don't want to conduct the train, it's all for Ty. It's very important to say how massive a role the three of you have played in this, in the way that you have done it has been, it's ahead of its time. I think there's a lot that people could learn from this, from the way that you have dealt with this and supported this, and that, that includes you, Lily, as well, because like I know that I know you're probably thinking, no, it's all mum, dad, and Ty. I'm just on the edge. I just get to enjoy it and do the fun bits. But No, to watch, to see how you interact, to see how you support, and to see how you encourage the relationship between Ty and Mango, and kind of trust that process and encourage Ty to do what he does is, yeah, it's a game changer. So kudos to you, and like, phenomenal. And I know we've said this in emails and that, what an amazing family you are, but you are an amazing family. The support, the way you address it, the way you have done it is amazing. That's all of your work into Ty, and Ty showing you that what an ace job you've all done.
And try not to mess it up.
Ty did say he was going to send me a check later. No, I'm only joking. I'm only joking. No, it's so cool to see the impact it's made as a family. It's great to see how it has changed you individually, but not interrupted with the job that she's there to do. Do you see what I mean? It's not like she's separated from Ty to be with Lily, or to be with mum, or to be with dad. It's like, to see her do that at the age she's at as well, that takes a lot of brain power. And to see her do that interaction, and then, like you mentioned earlier on, to break away from that and choose Ty and be like, no, you're my person, this is what needs to happen right now. I love that. It makes us all very, very happy when we see those moments. So obviously there's now one service dog that's going to be in the house. That leaves 3 of you now kind of, I guess, potentially wondering, do I qualify for a service dog, and can I get my own dog like that? I know from your point of view, you were trusting a process at the beginning that you may not have known a lot about. You had that perception of what a service dog was, so you really were kind of stepping into the world of unknown, despite Ty doing a lot of homework and backing that up with research and evidence, which I'm sure his initial argument became very hard to counteract when you're being presented with a lot of evidence to prove otherwise. So, Ty, have you? I think I know the answer to this one. So, through this process, has it unlocked other stuff in your head of where you would like to go in the future?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's definitely through the whole journey of diagnosis to service dog to this, for sure, it's made me realize specifically the accessibility level of our society and how we're operating today for the minority, and how service dogs are really, really such an important asset and tool that deserves so much protection and stuff. It's definitely inspired me to pursue this. I've definitely been thinking about it a lot, and opportunities that have been said to me and stuff like that. And I would love to move forward and help make the world more accessible for people in need of service dogs and people who are more divergent than the average typical person. And definitely has inspired me to maybe break away from typical telltale jobs that you see and more work towards creating a better and more accessible society for everyone else.
Wow. Wow. So you're running for premier when? I can keep this, and we can use this as your part of your campaign if you want. That's pretty monumental. I mean, that's a big task, and trust me, I'm speaking from experience. That's a big task that has a lot of kickback to it. So to put yourself, or to consider putting yourself in that position, that's pretty big. I need to have a chat with Mango. I need to get some of that she's got, that she's given to you. No, I think where society is, it's come a long way in a short time span, but I still believe that there's still a lot more to do. There's a lot more that needs to happen, and I think there's a lot of, I believe, and that's why the society is doing what it's doing in trying to bust open a lot of that, not to be argumentative, but to kind of expose it to the point where it's like, this needs to be spoken about, this needs to be debated, this not just at a social person's level, but it needs to go higher, but properly higher, not just acknowledged as oh yes, we'll get to that piece, and then it gets tucked away. It's about creating those discussions, and people such as yourself, you have the evidence. Surprise, surprise, Ty has the evidence to back all of that up. And that's what will get people listening for sure. It's because you've lived it, you're living it, the proof is there. And then I know 100% mum and dad are going to be behind you as well. So they're going to be there waving the flags. Vote for Ty. We'll all get our little buttons on our shirts. Yeah, I think it's really pleasing to see how that's transformed you in that way. In because you've taken it not just about yourself, you've taken it beyond that. And yeah, we could try to influence people to do that, but the fact that you have got there yourself with everything you've experienced, and then to be like, yeah, this isn't just about me, this is about the wider world. That's big, that's huge. And maybe when you explained that to mum and dad, they were like, oh no, really? We were kind of hoping for a little bit of a respite. Do you have anything to say to anyone who's listening with regards to the whole process? And I know you've kind of expressed certain things throughout this whole chat, but like, is there anything that you would, that's burning, that's itching for you to get out there to say to people if they're listening?
I think throughout this, I don't know, I've learned that I've really come to understand and know myself better than what other people would tell me they think they need. And the service dog is a great asset to your life. And if it's something that you genuinely think will help you, then pursue it and don't stop at the first roadblock, because there's going to be many. Realistically, like only 20% of dogs make it, right? But there's a good chunk of them that are in that 20% that are wonderful dogs, and you will grow your skill set overall, and it'll be a helpful process for you anyway. So, yeah.
Once again, wow. Have you rehearsed all of this out of curiosity?
No.
There's some serious pitching going on this one, you know. Yeah, I think that roadblock that you mentioned, and yes, you're right. Unfortunately, there is many. That's why the society. That's why with service dog training do things the way we do, is because we're trying to reduce as many of them or lower those hurdles as much as we can. But I think it's a very realistic thing to acknowledge that it's going to happen. It's not going to be I'd like a service dog. Here's a service dog. I've got my life back on track. It's not as I'd love it to be. Really would. And it's the way it should be. Your pitches are phenomenal. Like, yeah, you activate the neurodivergent part of my brain when you go into those modes. And I have to really concentrate. And I'm happy to admit this publicly. I have to really concentrate on staying on track. That's why I am. You've sent me different ways. Yeah. So, mum and dad, just quickly, this whole process takes a lot of commitment from you. And at the beginning, there must have been a lot of discussions, because it's not a small commitment, it's a big commitment. And to implement that into where your lifestyle where it wasn't, that's a big change, that's a big shift. So did you find that part difficult for you? as a family when you're looking at it? Do you see what I mean? Because like everything is as is, and you're kind of managing and coping and dealing with it as it is, and then suddenly you get ta-da, and then things change. Um, yeah, it's that unknown. How was that for you guys?
I think once you understand the why, it becomes a process of understanding the how. And so understanding the impact, getting educated on what it truly means, then we focus on, okay, how do we get this done? And how do we make it happen? And we have a discussion as a family to say, here's the route that we're going, and make sure that everyone understands and is on board and supportive. You know, like and like you said, as family, we have the discussions and we're all very supportive of each other. But like I said, once you understand potential impacts and how it improves things, and the benefits of it, it just becomes a question of, okay, how do we make it happen? And we go from there. You want to add anything to it?
I think the only thing I would say is families embarking on this do need to be really honest with themselves of sometimes what this asks of your other child or your other children, because we've asked Lil through this process to allow and ask her to participate in focusing on supporting Ty, not just for a month, not just for a day, right? But over a time period. And at times, that's asking her to give of her time, give of her. We are so blessed in the sense that our children are so close that Lily never once has expressed a moment of, this is too much for me. I need to be the center of focus. That's who she is.
That's going to come later. That's coming later down the road.
Yeah. But she's been amazing. And she would have a right. You have to be really honest. She would have a right to say, a part of these years of my life, the priority focus has been this process for my brother. So I think you have to be really honest and create time and space for your other kids to be seen, to be validated. And we've fallen short sometimes, and other times I think we've done well. We're blessed because of who she is, but I do think you need to be honest with yourself about where your energy as a family is going to be focused.
Yeah, and that's big. And I mean, Lily, how does that fit for you? I mean, like Mum says, by right, moments of, well, what about me? If you like, they are there by right to a certain degree, and that's not a reflection on people ignoring you or trying to purposely push you aside. That's a human, that's a feeling. Has that been hard for you to navigate that, Lily, or has it just been pretty easy to kind of flow with it and just?
I mean, there's been times, of course, where I'm like some of the things have been like overlooked or something like that, but I think my main focus was making sure like I wanted Ty to get like all the support and all that stuff that he needed. And then I didn't mind having to give up my time or anything for that.
Who are you guys? Like, seriously, like, no, that's phenomenal. And I mean, yeah, you and Ty are very close anyway, so like to see him be so happy through this must mean a lot to you as well, because it's the time you're investing is making that happen. So it's not wasted. Do you see what I mean? It's never wasted. Do you feel that the whole thing has changed anything about you, Lily? Like in the way that you may view things, the way that you may feel about things?
I mean, I know I had like a similar view of service dogs to my parents in the beginning, but I know I got a lot of the pre-pitching from Ty, so I was kind of turned around more easily about it. And yeah, it's been cool to see and like learn more about like all the work service dogs do and like how they help people more than I initially thought they did.
And how, like, do you get a lot of questions from your friends with regards to Mango? Are they like, so is Mango over this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, I don't I don't know. I don't really discuss it much, but like my close friends, like they got to meet Mango, and like my one friend, she has a dog at home, so she like loved Mango immediately. So like she's definitely like she's so sweet, and if I talk about her, people like think she's adorable and all that kind of stuff. But like, yeah, not a lot of people like outside of my family know a lot about service dogs or stuff like that. So I know I sometimes will have to like explain it. But my closest friends, like they think she's very cute.
That's cool. And yeah, the whole explaining it can get a bit repetitive after a while, like, you know, and it's like, oh, it's another education lesson coming up for free. So, okay, here we go.
Yeah.
And then, but it's those moments. That is what will make that dent in the way it's all being perceived. Is that driving that, and people understanding what that means. Yeah, I love the fact that you were involved in the pre-pitching. That was a smart move, Ty. Smart move. Yeah, I wasn't aware that had gone on. Wow. Was there ever, for you as a family, especially mum and dad, obviously there's a concern. I can see that if there was a concern, like Ty's obviously pitched a phenomenal pitch to you guys, but he said about this firm that train dogs, they have this program called Heart to Home. You knew nothing about it, and obviously we're on the island. Was there an air of skepticism, or like, well, this is kind of, we don't even know who these people are. They could be anyone who's saying that they can train a dog, and say that they offer this.
I think I'll start. I think when you look at the research that Ty did, right, that kind of put it helped to hone in on what we were looking for.
Yeah.
And then you look at the interaction when Ty reached out to different groups, and you kind of look at the initial interaction, and then get to meet some of the people. I think for me, looking at those first initial discussions and reactions is telltale for me. I look at those and try to determine, okay, where's the trust factor here? But when we met you in April, I think for me it was like, okay, like let's pursue this path, because there's a bit of a rapport that gets built quickly with Wolfability and April and yourself. So I think that was a huge factor for me to go, okay, now I can start to trust the process. Whereas before, depending on the reaction or responses that Ty got, I was like, yeah, I'm not sure about that one. Let's keep looking, kind of thing. So for me, it's always first impressions, how they respond to the questions, and yeah, for me, it comes down to how quickly is the rapport built, and the trust that comes with that.
Yes.
Yeah, and so these two had the initial meeting with yourself in April.
Yeah.
And then I'm the skeptic that comes in and does the behind the scenes. Check with Better Business Bureau, you're standing with the city, the business license, the educational credentials that are being put after the names, and verifying.
Wow, you really did put us through the mill. I did not know that. No, and to be fair, I'm glad you did. Because the way we've styled everything, the way we do it, we want people to be that way, because there is a lot out there that is not so great, and their intentions are very different. And so I'm pleased you put us through all those credit checks and everything else that you did. And now I'm questioning, did we get PIs following us around it somewhere?
I think when you have a young person in your life that has done this research, but beyond just doing the research and asking as a young person from their parents for something, he's asking for what he needs medically to pursue a successful life. And the stakes in even him making that request, and in his hopes and aspirations and his vulnerability in pursuing that, we have to protect that. Right?
Absolutely.
And so, yeah, we had to be very sure before moving forward that he would come out the other end the better for it and not be knocked down or taken advantage of, or right, like
Yeah, no, and I think that's a really really big thing, and you definitely approached it the right way. And I know April is of the same opinion in the way that you acknowledged the idea, the concept that Ty had, but then immediately put a shield all around it, and then kind of gone, okay, we'll do our bit now, and then we'll return to that concept in a minute. It pleases me, but there was something when you sent the form in, Ty, and I'm going to be honest now, and I'm not just saying this because I'm talking to you all as a family. When you sent the form in, the way you had filled the form in, and then me and you had a couple email exchanges, and what you was the way you were communicating and what you were communicating with, um, there was something different, almost hard to explain, where it wasn't done traditionally, and that's what piqued my interest a lot, because it was done. And then when you delivered the whole evidence and everything else and research, and I was just like, whoa, this is not just someone who likes the idea of a service dog, who believes it's just going to help them. This is someone who's really drilled into their part of their head and gone, no, this is really going to benefit me. And you put that across to me in such a way, and to me in April, where we were like, yeah, this is, yeah, we need to pursue this, we need to follow this one. And so if that pitch to us was only a fraction of the pitch to your mum and dad, ooh, that must have been heavy for mum and dad. But no, it's you did everything right. You did literally everything right. Now I know people are going to be listening to this and they're going to be like, so that means I've got to go away, do the research, I've got to compile an annual, and I've got to work all that stuff. But no, that's not what I'm saying. So please don't hit my inbox with all of those suggestions. But what it said to me was you looked at it in a serious way, and you understood it. You understood the process that you were stepping into. You understood all of that. And that was huge, because that's part of the journey already done. So would you go through the process again? So if we wound everything back to right before, and I was stood there in front of you and I said, so Ty, here's this program called Heart to Home. Or if I said to you as a family, there's this program called Heart to Home, and this is what they do, and this is what they do, you think you'd do it all again?
Yeah, I think I did. As you said, so many amounts of research, and even as they're saying, like the emails, a lot of the emails I got back from other companies were fairly blunt. Either you don't have enough money for that, or we don't cater to your needs, or you're too old, or you're too young, or you're not a veteran, or like things like that. And then getting to you and finally being like, yeah, there's potential. Like if we can actually work this out. I think I definitely exhausted my resources. I mean, I went outside of Canada too. I did research into like America and like so many other things. And on top of that, you guys came out on top. So I think after all of that, I would be like, yeah, this is definitely the best option out of the hundreds of sites and different organizations I've looked into.
Yeah, we do it very differently than a lot of organizations.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you got the communication. Well, I am, and I'm not. The communication that you got, the way you got it, is, in my opinion, poor. It's unnecessary, and it doesn't need to be that way. Um, Even if it's a no, there's a way of addressing that appropriately. So to be blunt like that raises flags for me, because it's not appropriate. You've got someone who's reaching out, and like your mum has said, that could be a very, very huge deal for that individual to be reaching out that way. And that whole point in time could have taken weeks, months to get to that. So to not show any compassion or empathy and to shoot that down, if you're going to be dealing with what we deal with, then you need to understand that. All right. So does anyone have anything else that they would like to share? Anything they would like to say? This is your moment.
Everybody looks at me. I'm not the talker.
You see,
I
Mum,
think
this is what happens when you step up and you go, this is about me. Everyone's like, Mum.
Yeah. I think the last thing I would say is something that's been really key for us and has made the whole process less formal, and for me then therefore more applicable, more appropriate, is the way the team has treated our whole family. Because April, or you said in the very beginning, get used to us because you're going to be seeing a lot of us and we're all going to become family. And we've really felt that. And I think we don't hold our breath or tense up as much because it's created just such a super honest communication. And that piece for us, especially the way we are, I know I'm yakking a lot, but we're actually pretty introverted people. And I think that laid groundwork for a more honest and therefore more successful process. And I know we're all grateful for that.
Wow, you are all going for it today, aren't you? No, and that's important to us because, like I said before, we've been in the field for a long time, and we have seen the gaps. We have seen and hoped that things would gear a certain way, and that when we were in a position where we're like, right, we're going to do this, we're gonna change it up. That's the way April, me, and the team. That's how we function. That's how we work. If we're not the sort of people that take no too well. Well, we hear no, but then we see why and then address why and then see if it can be turned into a yes. Because not just a cliche sales technique. It's not that. That is genuinely how me and April feel. It's about everyone who's involved with us in one capacity or the other. That's how we feel. That's how we see it. It's only fair. You're making a big investment emotionally, personally, financially, everything like that. So it's only fair in our opinion to be ourselves. I don't see it any other way. It's not right. We're not those sort of people. Yeah, and it's just providing that support is key to us. So that, there's many moments where you can feel on your own. Many moments, and I know you've experienced, unfortunately, some moments where you're like, no, no, this is not what we signed up for. So for us to be able to help in those moments and step in and go, okay, we got this, don't worry. It was big for us because it's what we do. Yes, I don't think there's anything more to say apart from that. I think there's been some legendary stuff that have been said in this morning. Wow. Was not expecting some of that. But I hope that people who are listening to this can get some form of inspiration from it, or belief, or understanding in a world they may find quite dark. That there is a way out. There is a way forward. Sorry, it's just finding it, and I know, and it's being persistent with that, but not in an annoying way. I mean, I think you did something that was very unique in the fact that you addressed not an issue or a problem, but you addressed the need with a solution and then delivered it. You didn't say, here's the need, sort it out. You literally went, here's the need, here's the solution. Again, I'm going to come back to, here's the evidence to back that up. So in that, I think that's the game changer. And I think people need to understand that a little bit more. And doing a bit of research helps. It definitely helps.
Yeah.
You zeroed in on what dogs, what breeds, and why, and that's big. That's not just picking any any old dog and then going, I want this dog as my service dog, please now.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think I'm going to leave it as that, and thank you so much for all your time. We have spoken quite a lot.
Thanks, Tim.